This video is part of a series of short videos taking a look at the Boris Continuum 3D Objects category of filters. And in this video we'll take a look at the materials group, and I'll show how to map an After Effects layer to the surface of an extrusion. So here we have a BCC Extruded Text effect, and I'll just give it a little spin around, and you can see that by default it is using the just default gray color material. I'm going to go into my project window, grab an AVI file, which is sort of a water texture, an ArtBeats stock video footage, I believe, and go back to the filter controls and open the material group, and you see the front texture layer pop-up menu. I just select the AVI there, and it's mapped to the surface of the extrusion. And I can disable it in the timeline as well and still reference it. So you can see it's really as simple as that to get started mapping video. And let me just give a little highlight luminance there. I'll turn down the specular strength. You still have all your material properties to control with the texture mapped on there. You can see right now I have the water texture mapped to all the surfaces of the extrusion. But if I go here, if I use this material count pop-up, I can determine separate materials for the other surfaces. Here I'm going to put a different one on the bevel and side face. I'll choose this sort of orange and yellow color material for the bevel and side, while I have my water texture still on the front. And just so we can see the moving video in action here, I'll just animate a little 3-second rotation on this extruded object and just hit the space bar to play through, let it cache the videos. And so there's really two ways I'll show in a minute how to reference textures in the materials. Right now what we're doing is we're using video from the AE timeline, and you use those layer menus for that. But there's also another way to do it called texture file. Let me go up here and open up the front. So there's the pop-up front texture layer where you access the After Effects layers in the timeline. And right above that is this front texture file pop-up menu. Now these are JPEGs that install with the product, but you can add your own textures in there. They're just referenced on disk on your hard drive. And the nice thing about those is when you apply them, let me just apply one here. You see how the side texture changed there. And you can fade the texture to have it somewhat transparent, revealing the color underneath. But the nice thing about those textures is they can be saved as part of a style because they're referenced directly off your hard drive rather than from the comp's timeline. Just I can have scale and rotation control, have control over a bunch of attributes of the texture there. And so that's how to map moving video from the AE timeline to your extruded object.